Good morning, students. How are you? Okay, fine. Already we have completed the topic current electricity. After the completion of the topic, we have started the quick revision. Almost all the formulas are going to be once again remembered. That is helpful for while solving the problem. Then today I starts with what? The relation of resistance with the dimensions of the conductors before stretching and after stretching. From the Ohm's law, we know that V equals to I into R. The resistance of the conductor R equals to V by I. The resistance of the conductor depends on nature of the material. It depends on dimensions of the conductor and depends on the temperature factor. Then it does not depend on the values of V and I. As the V increases, the corresponding I increases, the ratio remains constant. You never have to think that by changing the V and I, the R changes. V and I change. As V changes, corresponding I changes with equal amount. Hence, the ratio of V and I remains constant. It is independent of values of V and I. Then after that, when I come across the dependent factor of the resistance with dimension, the resistance of the conductor is directly proportional to length of the wire and inversely proportional to cross section area. Now after removing that, rho L by A, where rho is the resistivity. So it is constant for the given material of the wires. The resistance depends on the dimension, but the resistivity is independent of the dimension. It depends on the nature of the material, and it depends on the temperature factor, and it also depends on the impurity added to the materials. That is nothing but the next thing. So, by keeping rho constant, if I go for this L and A, so R is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to cross section area. I write here I is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to cross section area. If I take the two wires of the same material having a different length and areas, then the ratio of their resistance R1 by R2 of the two wire is L1 by A1 into A2 by L2. Right, L1 by L1. So this is nothing but, I make it clear here, L1 by A1 and L2 by A2. So when I take L1 by A1 and this goes to the numerator, A2 by L2. So I can write R1 by R2 equals to L1 by L2 into A2 by A1. If I take in terms of radius of the wires, A equals to pi r square, then shall I write L1 by L2, pi r square, pi is get cancels, r square by r square. This is true for the second wire, this is first wire. Now this is nothing but what? R2 by R1. I can write simply R2 by R1 full square. Is it clear? Now this is a condition when the two wires are having the same material, then the ratio of the resistance R1 by R2 equals to L1 by A1 into A2 by L2. I make the separation of what L terms and A terms. L1 by L2 equals to A2 by A1. I write in terms of what? The radius of the wire. So A2 is directly proportional to R2, A1 is directly proportional to R1. Then if the wire is stretched, then what is the new resistance after stretching? So when the wire is going to be stretched, there is an increase in the length and decrease in the cross-section area, but the volume remains same. Are you getting the point? When the wire is being stretched, there is an increase in length takes place. The corresponding cross-section area decreases, but the volume of the wire remains constant. Hence, R is directly proportional to L, inversely proportional to cross-section area. If I write R equals to rho L by A, so volume remains constant, multiplied by L, divided by L. So, R is equals to rho L square by volume. Then, rho and the volume of the material remains constant, and the resistance of the given material is also constant, then R is directly proportional to L square. If I take the two wires of the same material after stretching, R1 by R2 equals to L1 by L2 whole square. It is in terms of what? Length. Right? Then, I want to write in terms of area. It is in terms of length. First point. Second, R is equals to rho L by A. I write in terms of what? A by A. Then volume remains constant. Rho into B divided by A square. Then R is inversely proportional to A square. Are you getting the point? Then I can write R1 by R2 is equals to L1 by L2 whole square into R is inversely proportional to A. R1 inversely proportional. This is A1. R2 inversely proportional. This is A2 square. Right? Now this is about the relation between the resistance when the line is going to be stretched in terms of length and area. If I write in terms of radius, R1 by R2, L1 by L2 whole square, area equals to pi r square, r square square, R4, R2 by R1 power 4. Now this is about what? In terms of radius. Now this is about pi. Just to glance the equations. Now, after stretching, the volume of the wire remains same. I write the relation between resistance and length. Relation between resistance and length after stretching, R is directly proportional to L square. For the two wires, R1 by R2 equals to L1 by L2 whole square. In terms of area, I want to keep the volume constant. So I want to write in terms of area. So multiply area on both the sides and multiply and divide A to the equation. So L into A volume, rho and B are constant, so nothing but here. R is inversely proportional to A square. Then I go for the relation, the resistances ratio R1 by R2 equals to L1 by L2 whole square, A2 by M whole square. Then area equals to pi r square, A2 directly proportional to R2, A1 directly proportional to R1. So radius square, square of the square is nothing but 4 power. So R2 by R1 to the power 4. Now this is for resistance factors. Then in terms of mass, I come across original equation. In terms of mass, I go for same equation. Again here what happens? R equals to rho L square divided by volume. We are not going to stretch the wire. I want to establish the relation in terms of length and mass. Then we know that density equals to mass by volume. Density equals to mass by volume. Then I need volume equals to, shall I write? Volume equals to mass by density. Shall I substitute here? Yes. R rho L square M by density T. Don't confuse yourself. That D is represented here, density, not diameter. So when D comes to the numerator, rho T L square by M. The density of the material of the wire is constant, resistivity is constant. Then R is directly proportional to L square by mass M. If I go for the two wires, L1 square by M1, M2 by L2 square, then shall I write L1 by L2 whole square, and this is M2 by M1. This is our relation. Now this is about the relationship between the resistance, length and mass. Are you getting the point? Everything will be clear there. Don't be bad the equations. Fraction of a second, you can recall the equation and go for attempting the CT of the main point. Usually, what is the relation between resistance, length and mass factor? Now this is R is directly proportional to L square, inversely proportional to mass. Is it clear? Yes. Then after that, we come across color coding of the resistors. For the color coding of the resistors, we have got the formula R equals to. Is it clear? Shall I go for the next step? Yes. In color coding of the resistors, R equals to, I have got the formula AB into 10 to the power of C plus or minus T. Every time, if there is a 1 mass question for the color sequence and determine the value of the resistance, fraction of the second, all the color sequences are in front of you. Hint is provided. B.B. Roy of Great Britain had very good wife, wearing gold silver necklace. Then each capital letter of the sentence provides what? The colors and the respective values. We have taken the sequence of what? The natural number 0 to 9. Black 0, brown 1, red 2, orange 3, yellow 4, green 5, violet 6, blue 6, violet 7, grey 8, white 9. Then last 3 colors, gold, silver, necklace. That is, N stands for no color. Gold 5%, silver 10%, and no color 20% for the tolerance. If the color sequence is having the color, color coding resistor has got the color sequence orange, orange, yellow, and gold. What is the value of the resistance? Black 0, brown 1, red 2, orange 3. Orange, orange, yellow. Orange, orange, yellow. This is gold. Orange 3. Orange 3. Black 0, brown 1, red 2, orange 3, yellow 4. Gold 5%. Now this is the things in front of you. Within the fraction of a second, substitute the values 3 into 10 to the power of 4 plus or minus 5%. By leaving the tolerance, we can say that value is 333 into 10 to the power of 4 ohm. Then this is nothing but 330 into 10 to the power of 3, 330 kilo ohm. Is it clear? Within the minute, you can have the answer for the color sequence. For the theoretic, understanding the theoretical section, we have got the complete thing, the complete pattern in front of you. While giving the answer, that should be memorized within spot, that is short span, and go for the values for what? The resistance. Now this is the things for the values for the resistance colors. Then you substitute the things in the equation, then you can get the value of the resistance, that is 330 kilo. Like this, we can calculate the value of the color coding resistance, the value of the color coding resistance. Then after this, we come across the combination of the resistance. In the combination of the resistance, we have got the two important combinations. One is the series combination, another one is the parallel combination. In a series combination, I compare it with parallel combination because I don't want to waste the time here. The resistors are connected end to end. Now this is the end to end connection. Now this is common end connection. In a series, the current is having a single path. Current remains same, but voltage divides. Reverse of this. Your current remains same means current divides. Voltage divides here, it's reverse. That is, voltage remains same. In parallel, the current is having more than the single path. Because of that having more than single path, current divides. The current divides, and the resistors are connected between the two components. Thence there is the existence of the same potential difference in parallel. So in series, the resistance are get added. So R is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus dash dash. In parallel, the resistors are get reciprocal. 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus dash dash. If you need more resistance, go for series. If you need less resistance, go for parallel. So, for identical resistor, R effective equals to R plus R plus R, that is nothing but NR. Similarly, for identical resistor, R effective equals to R by N. So, 1 by R effective equals to 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R goes on. So, I take the 2, that is nothing but 2 by R. R effective equals to R by 2, 2 R by 2, 3 R by 3. N resistors, R by N. Now, this is for identical resistance N into R. This is for identical resistance, that is effective resistance equals to R by N. Then after this combination is preferred in the resistance box. The red current to bulbs. But widely used combination is parallel. Almost all the household connections are in parallel. Whatever the connections we are getting in the house for the fan, tube light, etc., then we come across parallel combination. We want to have the current to be divided. Wherever the necessary, we opted that device, and unnecessary devices are meant to be switched off. That is a possibility of only by using parallel combination. Almost all the household connections are in parallel. Is it clear? So, this is about what? Series and parallel combination. Then, if I go for individual potential differences in the series and parallel combination. So, I want to have the calculate the potential difference across R1, R2 and R3 if they are connected in series. So, if I come across V1 for series, V1 equals to I into R1 because in series current remains same. When the combination is replaced by the equivalent resistance, the same current is flowing through it, then V equals to I into Rs, effective resistance, that is the series combination Rs. Then if I replace I equals to V by Rs in this equation, what is that V1? V1 equals to V by Rs into R1. V1 corresponding R1, this is current V by Rs. Similarly, V2 I into R2, V by Rs into R2 dash dash. Nth resistor, Vth equals to V by Rs into Rn. Like this, we can calculate the potential difference across the individual resistance by using this equation in series. Then I go for parallel. In parallel, what should be remain same? Voltage. But current divides. I want to calculate current through each resistor in parallel. For parallel. So, I equals to V by R, I1 through R1, they remain same. When I go for equivalent circuit, V equals to I into R2. Shall I replace here? I into Rp divided by R1. Then second, I2 equals to V by R2, I into V by R2, that is I into Rp divided by R2. For N, Inth equals to V by Rn, I into Rp divided by Rn. Is it clear? Now the same equation is termed as a branch current separately. Now this itself gives what? Branch current equation, because if I take the two resistances, then I come across easily the branch current. Is it clear? Just glance with few seconds. Then after this, is it clear? सर आप लिख रहे फास्ट बोल रहे हैं, मुझे थोड़ा टाइम तो दे दो, so that we can understand it. Yes. Take the time. Enjoy the equations. When you know the basic concept, there will be no problem to remember the equations. Don't bad the equation. Don't try to remember it. Just you recall it within the span of the time with easy manner. Is it clear? Shall I proceed? Yes. when you come across the branch current, I don't go for the circuit and other things. So, for branch currents, any branch current is equals to main current into resistance of the other branch divided by sum of resistance. Our equation is obtained for the branch current only 2 resistors, but we have gone higher than that. In the case of our parallel combination, we have calculated the nth branch current. Inth equals to I into Rp divided by Rn. The same equation is applied here. So, for first branch current I have taken I1 equals to I into Rp divided by Rn. For 2 resistors. For 2 resistors. Now these are the 2 resistors in parallel. R1, R2, this is the main current. The current through R1 is I1, current through R2 is I2, and this is R2. Then Rp. Rp equals to R1, R2 divided by R1 plus Rp. 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 is equals to 1 by Rp, then Rp equals to R1, R2 divided by R1 plus Rp. Shall I substitute here? So, I1 equals to I by R1. What is Rp? R1, R2 divided by R1 plus R2. R1 get cancels. What are the things to be left? I1 equals to I R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Similarly for I2. Int. I2 equals to I into Rp divided by R2. I2 equals to I by R2. Shall I write Rp? Shall I? Yes. R1, R2 divided by R1 plus R2. These two get cancels. I2 equals to I into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Already we have done in the parallel combination, but to make to be separate ones so that students can easily understand. Don't without confusion. We have made once again branch currents by taking only 2 resistors. The same thing I have taken 2 resistors here. I use the equation from the parallel combination. Once again I arrived the things. Any branch current is equals to main current. Resistance in the another branch R2 divided by sum of resistors. Any branch current is equals to main current. Resistance of the another branch divided by sum of resistors. Now this equation is valid and easy to understand. Only 2 resistors are in parallel. If n resistors are in parallel, then what is the equation? Inth equals to I into Rp divided by Rn. You take any number of resistors, they should be connected in parallel. Then you go for calculation of what? Respect to current flow through them. Is it clear? Now this is about what? Parallel combination. Then after that, we come across what? Ohm's law applied to the circuit. In the Ohm's law applied to the circuit, we came across EMF, potential difference, and the total current in the circuit. Right? One more thing, interresistance of the cell. The EMF of a cell we have defined in 2 ways. The simplest form of the definitions. The open circuit voltage is known as EMF. The closed circuit voltage is known as potential difference. When the cell is in your hand, that provides the EMF, that gives the EMF. When the same cell is connected in the circuit, that gives what? Potential difference. The open circuit voltage is known as EMF. The closed circuit voltage is known as potential difference. The EMF is always greater than potential difference. Generally. Then every cell has what its own interresistance. That interresistance is the inherent property of the cell itself. Every cell must possess the interresistance because the cell is a source of energy. The cell is a source of electrical energy. the chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. During that period, there is a collision of the electrons inside the cell. That opposition offered to the flow of charges through the cell, then it provides what? The resistance. Every cell has got its own inter-resistance. The inter-resistance of the cell never becomes zero. If the inter-resistance of the cell is zero, then such a cell is called ideal cell. As the cell goes on using its inter-resistance increases, hence the current provided by the cell decreases. Finally, we don't get what? Any current from the cell. Then we can say that cell is out of order. Replace the new cell because its inter-resistance is very high because of its uses. The newly prepared cell has got the least inter-resistance. As the cell goes on using, its inter-resistance increases. Are you getting it? So, every cell has got the EMF, positive and negative terminal. Now, this is the inter-resistance of the cell that is provided, represented by R, the EMF of the cell E. So, it is somewhat awkward. It is represented as simply the cell is having EMF E and its inter-resistance R. Sometimes it is represented outside. This is R. But we take the easy representation. Cell is having EMF E and inter-resistance R. When it provides the electrical energy, to carry that electrical energy we need the conductor. Now this is the external resistance, that is the conductor having external resistance R. There is a flow of current I. Hence, because of the resistance, the potential difference exists. I into RV, I into small r, V dash. Hence, the total EMF E equals to V plus V dash, E equals to I into R plus IR, E equals to I, R plus R, then I equals to E divided by R plus R. This is our own proper circuit. When you come across the terminal potential difference P, the potential difference across the external resistance is known as terminal potential difference. This is your equation. Then V equals to, quickly we go for the equations within the fraction of the second. Just glance, already it is completed in our topic with the detailed explanation. Fraction of the second, everything will be rebuilt. Now these are the equations. The total current equals to total EMF divided by total resistance. Then I want to calculate the terminal potential difference. That potential difference across external resistance is known as terminal potential difference. When I substitute the value of I, then do the necessary cancellation, we get final equation. Then already you have told that open circuit voltage is known as EMF. From this equation, I want to make V equals to E. R never becomes 0. But I want to make V equals to E. Then R must be what? Here. R equals to infinity. R equals to infinity for which circuit? Open circuit. The open circuit voltage is known as EMF. When the circuit is open, current is 0. I equals V by R. Any number by infinity, 0. We get the 0 current. That's simple example. When the fuse is off in your home, that is nothing but open circuit. बाजू के घर में करंट रहता, आपके घर में करंट नहीं रहता, फ्यूज वैसा रहता. Then what is that condition? Open circuit condition. It doesn't provide the current. It offers infinite resistance, R equals to. Open circuit voltage is known as EMF. Is it clear? Then, after this, we came across combination of the cells. Again, the cells are combined in a series and parallel. To have the combination of the cells, we can achieve the desired value of the current and EMF and power. We need the more voltage, go for series combination of the cells. If you need the more current, go for parallel combination of the cells. If you go for more power, we go for what? Mixed combination of the cells. But for our syllabus, we have all the two combination of the cells, one is series and another one is parallel. When the cells are in series combination of cells, we know that in the derivation series combination of cells, the total EMF E equivalent equals to E1 plus E2 plus E3 and equivalent resistance of internal equivalent resistance R1 plus R2 plus R3. Then total current I equals to total EMF divided by total resistance. Without the external resistance, we cannot make the current to be flow through. Hence, E equivalent, R is the external resistance through which the current is meant to be passed, and R equivalent is nothing but the internal resistance, equivalent internal resistance. So, if identical cells, E1 plus E2, all the cells are identical, and E plus C, n number of cells, n into E, R plus R plus R plus R, n cells, n R. This is for identical cell. For identical cell. So, n is not, that is R is not equal to 0. Every cell has got its own internal resistance. From this equation we can come across what? The requirement of the EMF and the current, which type of the cells are preferred. Are the low internal resistance cells are preferred or high internal resistance cells are preferred. Then we make the equations. Similarly for parallel combination. In parallel combination of the derivation we come across E equivalent divided by R equivalent. E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 plus E3 by R3 plus dash dash. 1 by R equivalent is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus dash dash. When I come across the two cells here, for two cells, E equivalent equals to E equivalent divided by R equivalent equals to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2. Right? Then I want to write only E equivalent. E equivalent equals to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 R2. Right? Then this is nothing but R equivalent. In parallel combination for the two cells, R equivalent equals to, shall I write R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2, 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Then I substitute here E equivalent is equals to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 R2 into R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Shall I cancel these terms? Then E equivalent equals to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2 for the two cells. Just glance the equations. Is it clear? Then I go for equivalent cells. If the n number of cells which are identical in nature are connected in parallel. Shall I go for this? Then for identical cells, I equals to E equivalent divided by R plus R equivalent. Right? Then, if n cells are connected in parallel, then the potential difference, that is, the EMF remains the same. So E remains R plus this is nothing but R by n cells. If I take it numerator E n into R plus R divided by n, is it clear? Then I take the LCM, then shift it to the numerator NE divided by NR plus R. This is your equation. So simply remember for the series and parallel, I make the equation to be here. Series identical cells, parallel identical cells. I equals to NE divided by R plus NR. So for parallel, I equals to NE divided by this N is shifted to here, NR plus R. Don't be confused. Is it clear? This is for series combination. NE divided by R plus NR, NE divided by NR plus small r. Now this is for parallel. So we prefer the series combination of the cells when we need more EMF. We prefer the parallel combination of the cells when we need more current. The mixed grouping of the cells is preferred when we need more power. Is it clear? Yes. Then after completion of this main thing or combination of the cells, we entered in the Kirchhoff's law to deal the complicated circuit. Now whatever the circuit we have dealt by using the Ohm's law, almost all the circuits are simple circuits. Ohm's law is favored to deal the complicated circuit. One more person is going to emerge in the current electricity, that is Robert Gustav Kirchhoff, to deal both simple and complicated circuit, and he proposed the two basic laws. One deals with current, another one is voltage. Hence they are called Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Simply we can say it KCL and KVL. KCL signifies the law of conservation of charge, where KVL signifies the law of conservation of energy. By using these two laws, we go for one of the important concept, that is Wheatstone network, Wheatstone bridge. That Wheatstone network or Wheatstone bridge is also called post office box. The device meter bridge is based on the principle of what? Wheatstone network. By using the meter bridge, we can calculate the value of the resistance of an unknown wire. We can determine its resistivity. We can calculate the temperature constant of a conductor. We can calculate the temperature constant of a thermistor. Then we use the meter bridge for knowing the unknown resistance and comparison of the resistances. So from KCL we come to know that the sum of the current at a node or junction is equals to 0. To apply the KCL we have what the sign convention. The currents which are enter the junction are taken as positive, the currents which are leave the junction are taken as negative. By using the sign convention, we come across what? The KCL. The sum of the current at a node or junction is equals to 0. And finally, the first law concludes, signifies the law of conservation of charge. Whatever the charges are enter the junction, all the charges are left the junction. Hence the total charge in the system remains constant. The charge is neither be created nor be destroyed. It is simply entered the junction and left the junction. The total remains the same. Hence it signifies the law of conservation of charge. And KCL can be applied for closed circuit as well as open circuit. When you come across the KVL, it is applicable only for closed loop, closed circuit. A loop is a closed path for current which consists of the EMFs and the resistances. Then he had made the statement, in a closed loop, the sum of EMF is equals to the product of current and resistance of each part of the loop. Hence, from KVL, we get the statement sum of EMF is equals to sum of potential. That is nothing but sum of EMF equals to sum of air product in a closed loop. Sometimes the statements are provided. Sum of the potential difference in a closed loop is equals to 0. Then there is a slight change in the sign convention. By keeping this concept, we have given the sign convention. So there is a sign convention for air product. Sign convention for air product. While going in a loop, if the current is along with you, then the air product is taken as positive. While going in a loop, if the current is against to you, then the air product is taken as negative. Now this is this concept. When you take sum of potential difference in a closed loop is equals to 0. This is reverse. This is minus, then it is plus. If I use this concept. This is a sign convention. But I have taken sum of EMF is equal to sum of air product in a closed loop. Then my sign convention is for this concept. This is plus and this is minus. Now this is somewhat easier while solving the problem and dealing the complicated circuits. Then we have got the sign convention for EMF. This is the main thing for the topic. While moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, while moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, if I go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, positive to negative of the battery, then the EMF is negative. This concept is same there also. Sum of potential difference in a closed loop is equals to 0. There will be only sign convention changes. So sum of potential difference is equals to that concept. These are later and this is positive, but we are using this simplest form. Now this is a sign convention. By using the KCL and KVL, we come across the Wheatstone bridge. In the Wheatstone bridge, there is application of both the things, KCL and KVL. Wheatstone bridge or Wheatstone network. It is simply a quadrilateral. Quick revision. Fast. Each arm of the quadrant is having a resistance. We have taken 4 resistance P, Q, S, R in a cyclic order. Any two diagonal galvanometer, any two diagonal points, a cell of EMF E. There is a flow of current I. We are getting the point. The current divides I1, I2, this is I3 and this is I4 current to galvanometer IH. Now these are the ratio of arm resistance. Then the ratio of arm resistance are equal. P by Q equals to R by S. Now this is nothing but the principle of Wheatstone network or balancing condition. So now these are the points where the galvanometer is connected. The network is balanced by adjusting the resistances in the respective arms such that the current through the galvanometer is 0. When the current through the galvanometer is 0, then the potential difference remains the same. Now these points, the potential difference remains same. Wherever the potential difference exists, then only the flow of current takes place. If there is a potential difference remains same, then there will be no flow of current takes place. When the network is balanced, the points where the galvanometer is connected are at same potential. Hence the current through galvanometer is 0. When the current through the galvanometer is 0, then the network is balanced. Then it gives the ratio of arm resistance are equal. P by Q equals to R by S. This is our balancing condition of what? Wheatstone network. What are the main points? The Wheatstone network when the network is get balanced, the current through the galvanometer is 0. When the network is balanced, the points where the galvanometer is connected are at the same potential. Hence, there is a no flow of current takes place. What is the balancing condition of Wheatstone network? The ratio of arm resistance are equal, and the balancing condition P by Q equals to R by S. Is it clear? Yes. By using this Wheatstone network or Wheatstone bridge, there is a device which is based on this Wheatstone network, and that device is called meter bridge. The meter bridge is completely based on Wheatstone network, the principle of Wheatstone network. It is used to calculate the resistance of a given unknown wire, its resistivity, and is also used to calculate the temperature coefficient of the material, and it is also used to verification of Ohm's law by using the meter bridge. Especially while doing the practical, we come across this. So, by using the meter bridge, by using the balancing condition P by Q equals to R by S, then the unknown resistance, that is nothing but X equals to SL divided by 100 minus L. Now this is calculated by using meter bridge, where S is the standard resistance connected in the right gap, L is the balancing length, and 100 minus L is the remaining length after the balancing point. Then unknown resistance X equals to SL divided by 100 minus L. It is in terms of centimeter. If it is in meter, 100 centimeter is nothing but 1 meter, that is nothing but 1 minus L. By using this equation, we have calculated what? The resistivity of a given material of the wire. Whatever the wire is provided for us to calculate the resistance, what is its resistivity? That should be obtained by meter bridge. After getting the unknown resistance, we know that R equals to rho L by A. Rho L, A equals to pi R square. Rho L, radius equals to half of the diameter. Then R equals to rho L pi D square by 4. 4 rho L divided by pi D square, where D is the diameter of a given wire. That should be provided. Or you can calculate the D by using the screw gauge. Then I want to have the resistivity. Here R is nothing but X, unknown resistance. Then replace R by X, X pi D square divided by 4 is equals to rho. Is in terms of ohm. By using this equation, we can calculate the resistivity of a given material of the wire by using the meter bridge. The meter bridge is based on the principle of Wheatstone network. So, this are formulas are easy and yes, everything will be easy. The approach should be in the proper way. Understood? Okay. Then after this, the last thing of the topic, one more device to measure the accurate potential difference, which is not possible by the voltmeter, that is potentiometer. The last thing of the topic. So, by using potentiometer, we can calculate the exact potential difference between the ends of the wire, and we can know that we can have the comparison of the EMF and to determine the internal resistance of the cell. Then what is the principle behind the potentiometer? When a constant current is passing through a wire of uniform cross-section area, when a constant current is passing through a uniform cross-section area, the potential difference along the length of the wire is directly proportional to its length. The potential difference is directly proportional to its length. V is directly proportional to it. So, the difference between the potentiometer and voltmeter, the voltmeter with infinite resistance is nothing but ideal voltmeter. Hence the potentiometer is also known as ideal voltmeter. By using the potentiometer, we can have the exact measurement of the potential difference between the two ends of the wire. which is not done by the voltmeter. So the wires used for the construction of the potentiometer are constant and manganese alloy wires. These are the alloys, constant and manganese wires. Why? These are having low temperature coefficient and high resistivity. And these wire possesses what? High resistivity and low temperature coefficient. For the variation of the temperature, there will be no change in the resistivity takes place, resistance takes place. Hence, we come across what? Constant and manganese wire for the construction of what? Potentiometers. So, with the help of Ohm's law, from Ohm's law, V equals to I into R. When I are dealing the length, then R equals to rho L by A. Then V equals to I rho L by A. We are given the definition, the principle of potentiometer. A constant current is passing through a uniform cross-section area. The rho is the resistivity of a material, that is constant. Hence, here, constant current, rho constant, uniform cross-section area, all these factors are constant, is equals to K. Hence, V equals to I into K. So, that is nothing but, sorry, L into K. So, V by L equals to K. K is called potential gradient. V by L, potential gradient. Hence, V equals to K, proportional to sign. V is directly proportional. If I replace V equals to with K sign, then that gives the proportional sign. V is directly proportional. Where K is called potential gradient. For this is the term potential gradient. That is V by L. Now this is about what? Potentiometer. By using the potentiometer, we can compare the EMF of a two cells. We already studied the circuit diagram. Then by taking this equation for the comparison of the cells, V is directly proportional to L or E is directly proportional to L for the comparison of the cell E1 by E2 equals to L1 by L. We have studied earlier. Simply glance equation. With the help of potentiometer, we also determine the internal resistance of a given cell. That is the most basic thing. When the cell is going to be prepared, the cost of the cell depends on what? Its internal resistance. If the high internal resistance is going to be manufactured, there will be no use of such cells. एक बार खरीद लेते हैं, किसी डिवाइस को डाल दिए, 2 दिन में करंट सप्लाई नहीं कर रहा, कहाँ से लाए थे सेल को? नया सेल ले, 2 दिन हो गए नया सेल ला, कुछ नहीं फालतू सेल लाए, नया सेल लेके आओ। You bring another cell such that it runs months together. ये सेल अच्छा है because its internal resistance is very less. जितना जैसा यूज करते जाते हैं उसका इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस स्लोली बढ़ते जाता, तब इट गिव्स मोर करंट, देन इट इज गुड फॉर ऑपरेटिंग द डिवाइसेस. आप घड़ी को यूज कर सकते हैं, टेप रिकॉर्ड को यूज कर सकते हैं, कई टॉर्च को यूज कर सकते हैं. बहुत दिनों तक सेल चली, देन यू कैन से दैट गुड क्वालिटी के सेल है. 4 महीने हुए सेल अभी भी वैसे के वैसे ब्राइटनेस बल्ब की, बिकॉज इट प्रोवाइडिंग मोर करंट. सो टू हैव द इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ द सेल वी गो फॉर पोटेंशियोमीटर. We know the circuit diagram for the calculation of internal resistance of the cell. The internal resistance of the cell R is given by capital R, L1 by L2 minus 1. What are the equation? Where L1 and L2 are nothing but the respective lengths when the cell is included in the circuit, when the cell is not included in the circuit. The open circuit is known as EMF. E is directly proportional to E1. Then closed circuit voltage is known as potential difference. V is directly proportional to L2, which implies E by V equals to L1 by L2. Then we have taken the use of what? इसको ये इक्वेशन को हम ऐसे करेंगे. I equals to E divided by R plus R. Also apply to the circuit. Cell is having internal resistance small r. And I must take this equation. From Ohm's law, I equals to V by R. A divided by R plus R. See, then I go for cross multiplication. Then this is nothing but double equation क्यों बनाते हैं cross multiplication. Say if okay, I need inter-resistance small r equals to r divided by e. इधर शिफ्ट कर दे, r कॉमन ले लो कैपिटल R. Shall I substitute this one? E by d equals to 1 by 2. Your equation is ready. Fraction of a second. Equation बाहर भी नहीं है, आपको याद नहीं है ना? Go for basic thing. This is the inter resistance of the cell. Small r equals to capital R into L1 by L2 minus 1. Just within the fraction of a second, just to glance the equation. Almost all the equations we are ready. There will be no need of writing the equations. We can easily go for solving the problems. Just to glance the equation. Clear. Then we have to come across the next session what we are going to do. पूरे equation को एक बार देख लो. Yes, all the things were completed in the current recipe. Quick revision also we have done it. The next class we starts with problem. Before starting the problem, I give the certain hints how to solve the problem without any calculator. Then the problem, while solving the problem, students feel somewhat difficult. There will be no feeling of the difficulty. Certain things we have to be followed so that we can easily solve the problem just by without writing the formula also. Shall I start with next session with problems? Thank you.